Madison. How'd you see the play sort of develop there and you ended up to go there?
Honestly, we work a lot on set pieces, and we kind of have this phrase of scrappy equals happy. And so I kind of thought back to the last game against San Diego when Paige had a great goal against them, but also I was like, what if this deflects in a weird space? So I just decided to kind of gamble for it, and I usually don't score anything with my head, so it was just really exciting to be able to put it in the back. To be able to put it in the back of the net.
Scrappy equal happy. Is that on a T-shirt anymore? Or?
No, but we could definitely get that. We could definitely get that.
Buy it on angelcity.com/shop. Go. Question? Raise your hand. Don't be shy. Yes.
My name's Ethan from Kids Scoop Media. What does it mean to have your home country hosting the World Cup? And how do you think you've changed as a player at Angel City?
Well, it's very meaningful to have a home World Cup. It's something that is out of your control as a player because it's not up to us if our countries have the resources and win a bid. And so for New Zealand to go in with Australia and have this very unique first time a co-hosted World Cup, it's really, really special. And I really, really want, after seeing what Angel City has done here in Los Angeles, what the '99 World Cup did for women's soccer in this country, my dream is that we could kickstart something similar. It might take a long time, but this could be the catalyst for change to grow the game in New Zealand. New Zealand is not known as a soccer or footballing country, and I want every little girl who follows to suddenly think, wow, I want to play sport. You know, sport did so much for me as a person. And of course, I have been able to make it to a national team and to play professionally. But even if I hadn't, even when I was a young girl, sport gave me confidence. It taught me resilience, teamwork, leadership, so many things. And I want every little girl to have the opportunity to feel those things and to learn those things. So if these little girls in New Zealand feel that inspired to pick up a sport, I hope it's soccer, of course, but from watching the World Cup when the best players in the world and the best teams in the world are in their backyard, I think that's the way that we can actually change something for women, for young girls in New Zealand. So that's my dream. Is that a commercial?
Not the plant protein.
I partnership people for you. That's sitting there.
Allie, another question for you. When it comes to your family and talking about those roots of LA and just being able to be back home, just how has your family supported you and just how has that allowed you to grow into the person or the player that you are today?
My parents have supported me in every way. I think the game has grown so much now. Looking at the salaries, again, we're still pushing to grow even more, but looking at the opportunities players like Alyssa, that they have now, and the opportunities not just to play in this country, but there's so many clubs around the world. And that wasn't the case when I was growing up. And so for me to be able to go into the WPS, which then folded, knowing that my parents could support me, is a privilege that not a lot of players have. And it gave me the confidence to follow my dream. And so now I think the landscape has changed where players can, the minimum salary is still low, but it's a very different landscape than it was, especially at the beginning of the NWSL. Talking to Jazz Spencer and the players, the OGs of this league, what they went through. So I think I'm very privileged to have the support of my family and for them to travel around the world to see me play. And then now it feels like to come back to LA, it feels like I can kind of give back to them because they've supported me so much. And they have literally traveled around the globe to see me play. And so now they just have to sit in traffic for an hour. So, and I think just to be able to spend time with them, it gives me energy. It gives me that work-life balance that, again, not every player is lucky enough to have. And that's, again, why I want to grow this league, why I want to grow the game, because I want every player to feel what I'm feeling now. Ideally, not when you're 35 years old, maybe a little bit younger, but it's just what I feel and, like, the purpose I have and the support I have. It gives me so much energy to then give back to the game, give back to my teammates, keep, working with this club to make so much change in different communities. And, I think a lot of it is about purpose, and my family just, their support means so much to me. So seeing them after the game, sneaking them onto the field, no matter if we win or lose, having them there and that kind of unconditional love, that's what you need as a player, I think, especially when you get into the hard times. And yeah, it can be mentally and emotionally and physically exhausting to be a professional player. So to have my parents here, it's the best thing in the world.
And then Madison, for you, I mean, I know that's hard to like follow up to, but
Yeah, she's done a lot of these, so just really good answers.
but when you think about where you're at in your career, how do you look at people like Allie and her leadership, or just other teammates, and what does that mean to you to have their leadership, especially with the way that you get to impact just this next generation and just all these young fans too? Obviously, as tonight marked a big milestone for you.
Yeah, I think that I'm a weird generation of players just because I feel like I came into the league still when we didn't have a CBA. And so I got the tail end of NWSL gone bad. And then when things got really bad, and then now we have a CBA. And I think everything now is just trending upward. And so to be able to be part of the generation that can ask for more and demand more and demand better, it's really empowering to be a part of that. But I'd be remiss to not, acknowledge the work of, players like Allie, even though she played abroad for so long, to come back into the league and take her experiences. Players like Jazz Spencer, Lou Barnes, being able to learn from them, take their experiences, and kind of not make the same mistakes that the league did before. That's something that I really pride myself on. I think is really important, especially leading like this next generation of players. Now you have, players like Alyssa, players like Melanie Barcenas on San Diego, who are coming in and they're actually children, and they're not going to know that much. So us mid-20 kids are going to really have to lay a lot of a new foundation of, okay, now we've, worked for some things and we can kind of establish more of a stability in the league. But that's not enough, and to be able to build, it takes those players in the league, to grow into leadership roles. So I just want to keep growing into that kind of space, and it's really important to me. And I just want this league to be the best it can be, but that only happens if we demand more.
Yeah, Allie, after her goal, you kind of ran and chased her down.
So sorry.
Yeah, children.
Yeah, what made you feel so happy in that moment, and then just kind of congratulating her? What were your thoughts?
I think, Madison is so professional, and she's played different roles on the team this season and last season, and she is someone who is such a good teammate and has been working so hard. And those are the players that you want to have on a team. Those are the players who they're ready when their name is called, and you also know if they're on the sideline that they're giving you all their energy so that you can do your job. And she also, when she is not starting, she's doing so well in training, so that those players better be doing well because she's ready to take their spot. And so tonight, I just think that is like the character that we want at Angel City. These are the players that we wanted to sign here. And, this season there's been change, and it's been a bit chaotic. And so the leadership that Madison shows, and also the way she played tonight, it's like she has this calming presence, and it's like, it's just, for us now, when we want to get 3 points at a time, we can turn the season around, and it will be because of players like Madison. And so for her to get that reward and score a goal, especially in something that we have been working on and she's been working on, I cannot believe she sprinted 60 yards, but I just really wanted to just celebrate with her in that moment. So I ran with her.
I appreciate the galloping with me.
It's, go ahead, Kathy.
For both of you, of course, you were talking about the World Cup, and we're weeks away from it, the pinnacle of women's soccer, and literally having the eyes of the world on the sport. Just what are you guys looking forward to the most of what that celebration is going to be, and what that will continue to do for the sport?
I feel like the 2019 World Cup was just a big shift in terms of bringing culture to the sport, and I think that now there's a really unique opportunity to elevate that even more. And the reason I think that it's like that is because it's kind of, you don't know who's going to win. And I think that there are a lot of teams, particularly like the U.S., and New Zealand, and other big powerhouses that have just gotten a lot stronger in the last 4 years. And so it's just going to be something where it's going to be great to see the sport having developed so much in the last 4 years. You know, you look from even the 2015 World Cup, the disparity between leagues because of the resources, because of the amount of time and effort put into these nations was very low, to be honest. And so now in 2023, it's just going to be really exciting because I think the playing field's just going to make the games really fun to watch.
Yeah, I think just to build off that too, with the kind of move towards equalization, or with the equalization of conditions and the move towards equal prize money, this is a huge change. And again, we're not satisfied. We are going to push, and we want a commitment that it will be equal by 2027. But this is where you're going to see that there is a return on investment. You know, the argument before where, oh, if you do this, X, Y, and Z, then we'll invest in you. No, the investment is there, and I think you'll see this World Cup. You can't ignore women's sports. You can't ignore women's soccer. 2019 showed that, and then what's happened in the last 4 years with the media attention, with the attendance numbers, now with the size of the broadcast deals, I just think that the players, the product is there. And so now the attention around it will be elevated. And with now, I think, of course, we just got this equalization, but I think this World Cup will be a huge milestone. But then you will see now that we have this investment for the next 4 years, players having the money, getting the at least $30,000 for playing in the tournament, that unfortunately can be life-changing for players. So again, I think you'll see the level at this World Cup, I think, will be very, very high, but it's very exciting because it's just going to get better because now players will go home with money in their pockets. Federations will have more prize money, and then looking forward to in 4 years, hopefully even more preparation money, even more prize money. So it's going to be, again, I think it'll be an illustration of how far we've come, but then it's like, watch us and then watch what we can do when you actually invest in us even more.
One more question over there, and then Danny, and going back to today's game, you mentioned that you guys have been going through a lot of chaotic times. Where did today's confidence come from? Because everybody was having like shining moments on the field today. I'm sorry to say this, but does it have to do with anything about national players not being here, or just where did today's confidence come from? And how important is today's game?
I think the confidence comes from just our belief in each other, and I think that we have been consistent in performing in training for the past couple of weeks, and I think that you have to develop that level of consistency, competitiveness, challenging each other to be better, because then you have moments like today where players get opportunities and they're ready to meet the moment. And so I think it's mostly just the confidence comes from preparation and from us also being able to rely on each other. So I felt like today was just a complete team performance, and people, picking each other up during mistakes and also challenging each other to be better in certain moments. And so that's the kind of stuff that's gonna take us forward, especially while these national team players are gone. But the national team players are being gone doesn't mean that our team the level's not gonna drop, because we've been pushing the starters, non-starters for this whole season.
Damien, last question, then we're back.
No, I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for coming to Alley Madison.
Becki, you got the quick start there. What did you see on the first 2 goals, and how did you guys sort of hold on to the momentum throughout the rest of the game?
Yeah, I think coming out early was something that we were looking to do. I think building on momentum we've talked a lot about building on momentum from game to game and not letting any moment drop, but continuing to move forward. So I think the first 2 minutes, if that's what we scored in, really showed that we had intention to continue with the momentum. We didn't know how San Diego were going to come out, and we knew that it could be different, and they came out different to what we expected. So obviously trying to adjust to that, but if you get a goal early, that helps. It gives you a little bit more time and a little bit more confidence moving into the next 20-minute portion, where you can kind of figure out what their objective is and how we can counter that. So really important for us to get the early goal. Confidence moving forward. I think we had more opportunities than just that one early goal. I think we created a bunch in this game, and I don't want to say we're unfortunate, because I don't believe in unfortunate. We just needed to be more ruthless in the final third again.
You said that last week as well.
Yeah.
You hit the post a couple times, maybe a crossbar as well. What is that next step? I'm sorry if I cut somebody off there. I mean, how do you develop that ruthlessness in front of goal?
Yeah, I think it's just continuing in training habits. We must continue to put ourselves in positions where it does unfortunately get blocked or we hit the post or hit the crossbar, but we're prepared for it and we're prepared for second balls. I think something that we've continued to do over the last couple of games is we've had good spells of not possession, but the ball in and around the opposition's 18-yard box, and it's just that final piece. And I feel like when it clicks, it clicks. And today, yes, we did score 2 goals, but I do think we were unfortunate to not score more.
Hi. So for the past several games, you've brought Jasmine Spencer in up top. So what have you seen from her in training, and what has that done for your team in terms of play?
Yeah, I think Jazz is incredible 1v1. She's confident when she's in the attacking third. She's been working, she works hard inside and outside, both sides of the ball. I feel like she looks natural as a winger. It's not like she doesn't have to overthink the role, and it just looks really comfortable for her. Really pleased with how much production she's had. The next piece for her is obviously the goal. She's hit the crossbar today, and the last game it was a good save from Jane Campbell. But for her, today she got through 70 minutes of good quality production. So really happy. I think being versatile is really important, and I still think she can play multiple roles. I've just seen like her love and enjoyment of the winger and her fit really naturally in there. And obviously with Alyssa gone, we don't want to change our style of play. We want to be who we are, and I think she fits that role brilliantly for who we want to be.
Hi, Coach.
Hi.
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
It looked like you were trying to exploit those half spaces by the byline, find some cutbacks from that type of area. Kind of happened for the second goal, but just in that sequence of play, what are you looking to have from that?
Yeah, I think we didn't know that San Diego were going to come out in a 3-back, and I actually think it helped us a little bit. I think spaces that we can really expose, or we have exposed teams lately, is between centre back and full back. We've asked our wingers to be really confident and go 1v1. We've asked our wingers to enjoy possession, and then if it doesn't happen, keep the ball. And I still think we could have been a little more patient tonight in moments. We did have spells of decent possession, but again, it's when we get into those spaces, who do we want to be? And step by step, we'll keep working on that. But I do think, like I said, we want to keep our style of play. We want people to say, this is how Angel City play. And that's okay. Like, you can try to solve it, but we're going to continue to grow with it.
Yeah. Hi, Coach.
Hi.
You signed or I guess it was announced yesterday, the 2 national team replacement players. What were your thoughts on them coming in the second half of this match and how they did?
Yeah, I'm so glad that, Kelsey's been with us since pre-season, and she's worked incredibly hard. She's been a huge team player for us, and to give her a professional debut was those moments are brilliant for a coach, but just for how hard she deserves it. She's worked so hard to get it, and to come in against your rival team at 2-1 in front of your home crowd isn't easy, and I thought she dealt with it really well. And Liz, she's been a pro for years, so we knew what we were going to get from Liz coming in. She fits that mold of 1v1. She's versatile. She's a competitor. She's always going to play to win everything. So she fits in really well. And the plan was to, obviously with a short turnaround and a 3-game week, we need to make sure that, I say 1 game at a time, but obviously in the back of my mind is how do we keep building momentum and make sure our players stay fit and healthy. And those 2 fit in straight away for us. So it was an easy decision to be able to bring them on.
Right, and then Clarice Lebion, she started this game at the 9. Kind of what were your impressions of her there, and why did you put her in that position rather than in the midfield?
Yeah, I think Clarice, really intentional about playing back to goal. She can hold the ball up, she can flick around the corner. First touch is incredible. She's creative and she's dangerous in and around the box. I think she had a really good opportunity tonight from a great ball in behind from Savannah. And as she continues to grow in confidence in that position, again, it's brilliant for us to be able to play players in multiple positions, but their role remained very similar. And I think she showed that tonight. She was able to play 2 positions in 2 halves of the game and did them both really well.
Hi, my name's Ethan from Kids Group Media. You guys came out fairly aggressive today, and you guys had a lot of nice chances in the right corner in the first half. You also talked about earlier that Angel City style of play. So what style of play are you trying to establish, or what do you want to build on from today's game?
Yeah, I think being confident in the attacking third, and I've spoke about ruthless in the attacking third, ultimately, that's what wins your games, but just being able to create opportunities, allowing our front 4 to go 1v1 and have that really fluid style of play and be really confident with the ball at their feet. And also when they get into those spaces, knowing what's next, right? So it's how many runners you get in the box, where are the spaces that we're trying to exploit, and having everybody on the same page, whether we bring a new player in or a sub in or however it looks, everybody knows what's going to happen to an extent. Obviously, unpredictability in the final third is really important, but you can't be unpredictable to both teams because it doesn't work. You need to be somewhat predictable to your own team so that we know what's going to happen next. So we're trying to, I don't want to contradict myself, but predictable but unpredictable is actually what we want to be in the attacking third.
Hi, Coach.
Hi.
I know Julie's detached for the national team now, but can you speak a little bit to how she's come into your team and the kind of quick comeback she's made to return to form?
Yeah, she's been brilliant. She's come in. She is incredible around the training environment, always competitive, true professional. I think when you can have a balance in your environment of pros, of people that have been through, we have a few mums in the team that have been through the, coming back, return to play. We've had long-term injuries, short-term injuries, like you name it, we have it in our environment. And I think that's really valuable for everybody to learn from each other and take pieces. When you have 18, 19, 20-year-olds in your team that can learn from somebody like Julie and, people that can help push each other along, it's brilliant. So she's come in, she's been great. She's been good for the team. She's got herself back to fitness, and I'm excited to watch her in the World Cup.
Last one, Jackie.
Becki, congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Just thinking about that first half, you had 2 quick goals, and then in between there was about 15 or 16 minutes. Just how did you maintain the pressure in some of those high-pressure moments there?
Yeah, I think when you score early, it's always, at some point you're going to have to ride some momentum. So it's just being prepared for the ebbs and flows of the game and knowing what's going to get thrown at you, when to slow it down, when to speed it up. I think we managed to control the game when we kept the ball when we were 2-0 up. We were good. And when you keep the ball, you tire the other team out, and then you actually create more opportunities. So I think being able to figure out, and I'm really proud of the team because, again, we didn't know how San Diego were going to come out and how they were going to approach the game. So being able to problem solve in the moment is really important. And I think, again, those 2 goals early were huge for us. I do think we created more opportunities, and, maybe on another day we could score a couple more. But momentum is super important game-wise and game-to-game-wise. So to keep momentum is really, really key for us.
And then thinking, that just was perfect leading to my next question, because as you face Gotham, obviously you have history there, but that dynamic has changed a little bit. So how are you planning just to keep up that momentum, especially on the road?
Yeah, I think, again, you build momentum every game, you build confidence every game. I think it's continuing to work through, I don't even know what day we are, I say Monday to Friday, but now it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, however it looks. But standards have to remain every day. And I think that's whether you're in recovery, whether half the group trains and half the group doesn't, your standards have to stay high and they have to remain the same. And competing every day is really important. We have to find a way to compete, even if it's a recovery session. How do we find a way where something is a stimulus to compete in that day? And I think that moves you forward every day and brings something challenging to the day. So just continuing to roll forwards. I think tonight was huge for players. And I'm super proud of the players that maybe haven't played a lot of minutes and have come in tonight, because it shows that the training environment for them has been brilliant, because they've come in and they've done a great job. And before the game, I said, I want you to make my job hard. I want you to make Sunday's game team selection really hard, and they have. And that's what I asked them for, and that's what they've done. So, we'll move into Sunday as a squad, and we'll look at how we can best prepare for that. But as a coach, if you have 20 players that you could pick any of the 20, 22 right now, that's a brilliant position to be in.
That's a great way to end it. Thank you, everyone.